How's it going, guys? Topic for today's video: information consumption. So we consume many different things in the world, one of them being food, for example. We can consume a very healthy, nutritious food that really supports the functions of our body. And we can also consume a very destructive food that is less than optimal for our body. Now, it's the same thing with information. We can be consuming very positive, very uplifting, and very inspirational information, as well as consuming very destructive and fear-ridden and information that creates a lot of self-limiting beliefs. Now, when we're talking about improving the quality of our life, the type of information that we consume is it's quite important. The type of information that we are consuming will influence our thoughts, and with influencing our thoughts, what happens is that we form beliefs around those thoughts that we keep thinking. And when we have these beliefs will dictate the types of results that we get, the type of circumstances we have, and our perception of the world. So if we're always constantly consuming a lot of negative information, that results in negative thoughts, negative beliefs. We can get results that we don't necessarily want. We can have a lot of negative circumstances, as well as having a negative perception of the world. So when we're talking about improving the quality of our life, becoming happier, becoming healthier, maybe living more courageously, the type of information that we are consuming is really, really important. So the biggest source of negative information is news media. This is something that a lot of people always talk about is, you want to stay away from news media, stay away from like CNN, stay away from news websites. And the reason for that is because a lot of these websites, a lot of these TV channels, they're very negative. It's oriented around a lot of what's going wrong with the world, always talking about the problems. And there's lots of like positive things happening in the world, but why are these channels always focused on what's going wrong with the world? And that's because drama, gossip, it sells a lot easier than always talking about what's going right with the world. And the reason for that is because there's some mechanism in our brain that seems to be wired focused on a lot of gossip and drama and all that kind of stuff, heinous things that are going on in the world. And the reason for that, I think, is just for self-preservation. So we want to survive, and we want to know the things that can affect our survival in the world. So that's one reason why we're so drawn to like drama and gossip and just like, wars that are going on. That's why we're so drawn to it, because it affects our self-preservation. Now, the focus of this video, I want you to start thinking a little bit more intentionally and deliberately with the type of information that you are consuming in your life. Is it making you feel good about the world? Is it invoking positive beliefs and positive thoughts? Now, this is something that you're going to have to decide for yourself. I can't tell you whether or not something is positive or negative in your life, because you're going to have a different experience with different types of information. Now, I don't watch TV. You'd be very hard-pressed to find me watching TV. It's not something that I find adds a lot of value to my life, so it's not something that I do very often. I also stay away from a lot of news websites. I don't really like to read too much about what's going on in the world, because a lot of the news around the world has no bearing on my life. Unless maybe I was traveling to one place and I wanted to know if there's maybe like a war going on, then I might just steer clear of there. But the vast majority of news, 99% of the news, has no bearing on my direct life. So for me, it doesn't make sense to watch it at all. Something else that can have a negative effect on your life when we're talking about consumption is social media. So social media is kind of based around creating drama and gossip. And it might not be the experience for you, but that's what I've experienced with a lot of social media. So I'm no longer on Facebook. I don't use Twitter. The only social media that I use is Instagram, and obviously YouTube, because you're watching it right now. So I'm very intentional and deliberate with who I follow on Instagram and with who I follow, the channels that I follow here on YouTube. I only want to be watching channels that are going to be positive and uplifting to me. I don't really like to watch stuff that is negative. So I don't really watch any news stuff on YouTube. I mainly just watch channels that I just kind of resonate with. And that's the kind of stuff that I want to be giving to you on YouTube here through Unconventional Living, is just very positive, uplifting, inspirational, optimistic messages about the world. So one little thing that you can do is you can do a 30-day experiment with certain news media outlets. So you can give up maybe like TV, you can give up radio, you can give up reading the newsletter. Try it for 30 days and see how it affects your life, how it affects your thoughts, and see if you actually really miss it. By the end of the 30 days, it's like, do I really need to be watching a lot of TV and subjecting myself to a lot of advertising? Do I need to be listening to the radio all the time, or could I be listening to an audiobook instead? Or reading the newspaper. Do I really need to be reading the newspaper, or can I get by without it? Do I really need to be reading it? And you can constantly ask yourself the question, does this add value to my life? Does the newspaper add value to my life? Does the TV, does it add enough value into my life for me to keep watching it? So let's be a little bit more intentional, a little bit more deliberate with the types of information that we are consuming. If you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them in the box below. I'll be glad to answer them. And awesome. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Peace out.